I stand at the bay window of my parents' suburban Chicago living room, watching my sister Theresa shriek in the driveway as Dad pulls a massive red bow off a silver Porsche Cayenne. The Christmas tree lights blink behind me in rhythm with my pulse. Mom claps her hands together, her diamond bracelet catching the December sun, while I stand here empty-handed in the living room where I opened. Nothing. Oh my God, Theresa squeals, filming herself from every angle. This is literally insane. The car sits where my Honda Accord was parked an hour ago, a $95,000 testament to parental devotion. Behind me, torn wrapping paper surrounds the sectional sofa, evidence of Theresa's earlier haul, MacBook Pro, designer handbags, professional ring light. The room smells of cinnamon candles and mimosas. I look down at my hands. Empty. Completely, utterly empty. Go ahead, sweetie, Mom had said 20 minutes ago, gesturing around the room. Open yours. I'd searched every package. Read every tag twice. Checked under the tree, behind the couch, on the mantel. My stocking wasn't even there this year. There's nothing here with my name on it, I'd said, my voice steady. Dad glanced up from his phone. What's that? My gift. There isn't one. The silence felt like falling through ice. Oh, honey, Mom laughed, bright and dismissive. You're always so independent. We didn't think you needed anything. You have everything figured out. Theresa needs support right now, Dad added, already turning back to coordinate the reveal. Her influencer career is at a critical growth phase. Image matters in her industry. You understand. I understand I drove 6 hours to be here. I understand that 3 months ago, I was promoted to senior marketing director with a 40% raise, and neither of them remembered. I understand that when I mentioned my breakup with Marcus, Mom changed the subject to Theresa's skincare campaign within 30 seconds. Andrea. Mom calls through the window. Come out for the family photo. I don't move. Can't move. 32 years of moments exactly like this cascade through my memory. The graduation they left early. The college tuition conversation, community college for practical me, full university for Theresa to find herself. The wedding contribution I never asked for because I already knew the answer. This isn't an oversight. This is a statement. My purse sits on the entry table, containing the gifts I brought. The vintage watch for Dad that cost half a month's rent. The cashmere scarf Mom admired at Nordstrom. The camera equipment Theresa texted about 3 times. All purchased by saving since September. I'd practice my news during the entire drive. Senior marketing director. The promotion I'd fought for through late nights and weekend strategy sessions. I'd imagined their faces showing pride. I'd imagined mattering. Maybe this year will be different, I'd whispered at each toll booth, each rest stop, each mile marker. The driveway performance continues. They haven't noticed I'm not in the frame. The house settles into silence around 11 p.m. Dad's snoring drifts from the master bedroom. Mom's white noise machine hums through her closed door. Theresa left hours ago to show off the Porsche at her boyfriend's family gathering, her excited squeals still echoing in my memory. I wait in the guest room until 3:42 a.m., watching the digital clock on the nightstand count down my escape. My suitcase is already packed, sitting by the door with my laptop bag and purse. Everything I brought fits into 3 pieces of luggage. Everything that matters, anyway. The stairs don't creak. I learned which boards to avoid when I was 16, sneaking down for midnight study sessions during exam week while Theresa threw parties in the basement. Muscle memory guides me through the darkness. In the kitchen, I leave my house key on the granite counter beside the coffee maker they'll find in the morning. No note. What would I even say? Thanks for the nothing? Sorry for existing? The garage is colder than I remembered. My breath clouds in the air as I flip the light switch, illuminating the space where Dad parks his Mercedes. Where he used to park it before he moved it to make room for Theresa's Porsche reveal. That's when I see them again. 3 cardboard boxes stacked in the back corner under a paint-stained tarp, labeled in Stella's precise handwriting, Andrea, miscellaneous. I pull the first box toward me. My debate team trophies, the ones I polished every weekend for 2 years. My academic awards from high school and college. The acceptance letter to Northwestern's business school that I couldn't afford to attend. A framed photo of me shaking hands with the mayor at the city planning ceremony where my marketing campaign was recognized. The second box holds my books. First editions I'd collected with birthday money, convinced that someday I'd have shelves to display them. My childhood journals. The quilt Grandma Rose made me before she died, the one with my name embroidered in the corner. The third box is photographs. Me at various ages, smiling at cameras held by people who were already looking past me toward Theresa. Evidence of a childhood spent in the margins of someone else's story. I don't hesitate. All 3 boxes go into my Honda's trunk, stacking perfectly like they were designed for this moment. My suitcase fits in the back seat. Laptop bag in the passenger seat. Purse on top. I'm pulling out of the driveway when my phone lights up. Mom's name flashes across the screen at 4:17 a.m. I let it go to voicemail, but the text comes through before I reach the stop sign. Andrea Kennedy. Where are you? You're ruining Christmas. Your father is very upset. Come back right now and apologize to your sister. Apologize. For what? For not performing gratitude for nothing? For not pretending this is normal? I block the driveway with my car for exactly 30 seconds while I type my response. I'm not ruining Christmas. I was never part of it to begin with. Then I delete the message without sending it. They don't deserve an explanation. They don't deserve my anger or my hurt or my carefully constructed sentences. They don't deserve me. The Honda's engine purrs as I shift into drive. 6 hours to Chicago. 6 hours to Maya. 6 hours to anywhere but here. The rearview mirror shows the house growing smaller, the porch light Mom left on for appearances flickering against the pre-dawn darkness. I don't look back again. My phone buzzes with another text. Then another. The calls start around 4:30 a.m. Mom. Dad. Theresa. Mom again. A voicemail notification. 3 more texts. I silence my phone and press down on the accelerator. The highway stretches ahead, empty and dark and mine. The Honda Accord hums beneath me, paid for with my own money 3 years ago. Every monthly payment, a small victory I celebrated alone. Now it's carrying me away from people who took me for granted. Its reliable engine more trustworthy than any relationship I left behind in that house. Interstate 90 is empty at this hour. Just me and the occasional semi-truck hauling goods to cities that are still sleeping. The dashboard clock reads 5:23 a.m. The sky is shifting from black to deep purple at the edges. My phone hasn't stopped. 17 missed calls. 32 text messages. The voicemails pile up with increasing desperation. I don't need to listen to know what they say. I've heard these speeches my entire life, just in different contexts. The first gas station appears at mile marker 47. I pull in, hands shaking slightly as I fill the tank. The fluorescent lights make everything look harsh and real. A text notification lights up my phone on the dashboard. Dad, this is childish. You're acting like a teenager. Come home and we'll talk about this like adults. Like adults. The way we talked about college like adults when I was 17. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my acceptance letters spread out like a winning hand. Northwestern. University of Michigan. Boston University. Full academic scholarships to state schools. Partial scholarships to private universities. I'd worked for this, maintained a 4.0 while working 20 hours a week at the bookstore. You're so independent, Andrea, Mom had said, not looking up from her phone. Community college makes sense for someone with your practical mindset. You can transfer after 2 years if you want. But Theresa's only a sophomore, I'd said. She hasn't even started applying yet. Dad had folded his newspaper with deliberate precision. Theresa needs the full university experience. She's still finding herself. You already know who you are. What they meant was, Theresa needs financial support. You don't. What they meant was, Theresa matters. You don't. I'd enrolled at the local community college. Worked full-time. Transferred after 2 years to a state university. Graduated debt-free but exhausted, while Theresa lived in a sorority house at Northwestern, her tuition, room, board, and spending money all covered by Jerry and Stella Kennedy's checkbook. The gas pump clicks off. I squeeze the handle until it clicks again. And again. $52.16. I can afford it. I've always been able to afford things because I've never had another option. A text from Theresa. Why are you being so dramatic? It's just Christmas. You're making Mom cry. Just Christmas. Like it was just my 21st birthday when they took Theresa to Paris instead of coming to my small celebration. Just my graduation when they left early for Theresa's art show opening. Just my promotion when they changed the subject to Theresa's Instagram follower milestone. The highway opens up again. Dawn breaks properly now, pale winter light spilling across frozen fields. I pass the exit for Rockford. Halfway there. My phone rings. Mom this time. I watch it vibrate on the passenger seat until it stops. Another voicemail. Another text. This one from Dad. We gave you independence. That's worth more than any car. Independence. Their code word for neglect. Their justification for inequality. Their permission to forget me. But independence also means I can leave. Independence means this Honda, this highway, this choice. I press down on the accelerator and watch the speedometer climb to 75. Independence means I'm free. The Chicago skyline emerges on the horizon like a promise. Like proof that there's a world beyond that house, beyond their hierarchy, beyond their version of what I'm worth. My phone buzzes one more time. I don't look down. Maya opens her apartment door at 10:47 a.m., still in her pajamas, takes one look at my face, and pulls me inside without a word. Her Lincoln Park apartment smells like coffee and cinnamon rolls, nothing like the artificial pine scent I left behind. Tell me, she says, settling us both on her overstuffed couch with mugs of coffee I'm too numb to drink. So I do. The whole story spills out in fractured sentences. The Porsche. The nothing. The empty hands. The boxes labeled miscellaneous. The 4 a.m. escape. Maya's expression shifts from concern to disbelief to something that looks like rage. Andrea, she says when I finish, her voice steady and clear. That's not love. That's neglect. The word hits me like cold water. Neglect. Not forgetfulness. Not different parenting styles. Not my being too sensitive. Neglect. I've been making excuses for them for 32 years, I whisper. I know, she says. I've been watching you do it since business school. Maya met my parents exactly once, at graduation. She'd asked afterward why they spent the entire lunch talking about Theresa's upcoming semester abroad. I'd laughed it off, said they were excited for her, said I didn't mind. Maya had looked at me like she wanted to say something but decided against it. You're staying here, Maya announces, standing up with the kind of decisive energy that built her consulting career. Guest room's yours for as long as you need it. And, before you argue, this isn't charity. This is what people who actually care about each other do. Unconditional support. The concept feels foreign, like a word I learned in a language class, but never used in conversation. I've spent so long being the one who doesn't need anything that accepting help feels like admitting defeat. But Maya's already pulling sheets from her linen closet, already clearing space in her guest room, already acting like my presence matters. Like I matter. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing. 47 missed calls now. 63 text messages. Maya glances at it on her coffee table and shakes her head. You need to eat something real, she says. There's a diner around the corner. Best pancakes in Chicago. Come on. The diner is warm and loud and normal. Families eating breakfast. College students nursing hangovers. A waitress with kind eyes and a name tag that reads Ruth seats us in a booth by the window. Rough night? Ruth asks, pouring coffee without being asked. Rough 32 years, Maya answers before I can deflect. Ruth nods like she's heard this story before. Let me guess. Family? My sister got a Porsche for Christmas, I say. I got nothing. Ruth sets the coffee pot down and looks at me directly. Honey, blood doesn't make you family. Respect does. And it sounds like they don't know the first thing about either. She walks away to take another table's order, leaving that truth sitting between Maya and me like a third person at the table. Blood doesn't make you family. Respect does. I've been waiting my whole life for my blood family to respect me, to see me, to choose me. But they've chosen Theresa every single time, in ways both massive and microscopic, until I became invisible even to myself. Your phone's ringing again, Maya observes. I reach across the table and turn it off completely. The silence that follows feels like the first deep breath I've taken in years. Ruth returns with pancakes I didn't order. On the house, she says with a wink. Sometimes you need someone to take care of you whether you ask for it or not. I pick up my fork. Maya smiles at me across the table, and for the first time since Christmas morning, I feel something other than pain. I feel possible. Monday morning arrives with startling normalcy. Maya leaves for her consulting firm at 7. I sit at her kitchen table with my laptop and a clarity I haven't felt in years. If I'm building a new life, I need to build it properly. Foundation first. I email my boss, Richard, at 7:43 a.m. The subject line reads, Transfer Request, Chicago Office. My fingers don't shake as I type. I outline my performance metrics from the past 18 months, the accounts I've grown, the campaigns I've led, the revenue I've generated. 37% increase in Q3 alone. I attach the quarterly reports, the client testimonials, the promotion documentation they already have on file. I don't mention my family. I don't mention Christmas. I don't mention that I left my childhood home at 4 a.m. and can't imagine going back. This request stands on merit alone. It has to. Richard responds within 2 hours. Conference call at 2 p.m.? The call lasts 14 minutes. Richard and the Chicago Regional Director, Patricia, ask about my availability, my current projects, my transition timeline. They don't ask why. They talk about my work, my results, my value. Patricia mentions they've been trying to fill a senior position for 3 months and my portfolio speaks for itself. You can start January 15th, Patricia says. We'll handle the logistics. I hang up and stare at Maya's kitchen wall. I just changed my entire life in 14 minutes based purely on what I've earned. No begging. No explaining. No diminishing myself to make space for someone else's needs. My phone sits face down on the table, still powered off since the diner. I turn it on to update my address with HR, 89 missed calls. 143 text messages. 27 voicemails. I open the voicemail app with clinical detachment, pressing play on the most recent ones. Theresa's voice comes first, choked with theatrical tears. Andrea, please. You're tearing this family apart. Mom can't stop crying. Dad won't talk to anyone. This is so selfish. Just come home and we can forget this whole thing happened. Forget. Like forgetting is the same as forgiving. Like erasure is the solution to being erased. Dad's message is next, his tone clipped and authoritative. Andrea Marie, this tantrum has gone on long enough. You will call your mother immediately. Her blood pressure is through the roof. If something happens to her, it's on you. We're your family. Act like it. There it is. The weaponization of mom's health. The threat wrapped in concern. The implicit blame for consequences of their own creation. Mom's voicemail plays last, and her voice is soft, wounded, expertly crafted for maximum guilt. Sweetheart, I don't understand what we did wrong. We've always supported you in our own way. You know Theresa needs more help than you do. You've always been so strong, so capable. Please don't punish us for trusting in your strength. I haven't slept since you left. My doctor says my heart. I delete it before she finishes. Maya comes home at 6 to find me still at the kitchen table, laptop closed, hands wrapped around a cold cup of tea. How'd it go? She asks. I got the transfer. I start January 15th. That's amazing. She pulls me into a hug that feels nothing like the obligatory embraces from my childhood. And your family? Still calling. Maya sits across from me, her expression serious. Andrea, I need you to do something for me. See my therapist. Dr. Chen. She specializes in family trauma. I don't need. The old protest dies on my lips. Because maybe I do need. Maybe needing isn't weakness. Maybe asking for help is the strongest thing I've never learned to do. Okay, I say. Okay. Dr. Chen's office is nothing like I expected. No sterile waiting room or clinical furniture. Just a converted brownstone in Wicker Park with bookshelves that reach the ceiling and a couch that doesn't feel like a spotlight. She's younger than I imagined, maybe 45, with kind eyes and a posture that suggests she's heard everything and judges nothing. Tell me why you're here, she says, and it's not a question. It's permission. So I tell her. All of it. The Porsche and the nothing. The boxes labeled miscellaneous. The 32 years of being told I'm independent while Theresa drowns in support. Dr. Chen doesn't interrupt. She takes notes occasionally, nods at precise moments, and when I finally stop talking, she's quiet for a long moment. Andrea, she says carefully. Have you heard the terms scapegoat and golden child before? I shake my head. They're roles that form in dysfunctional family systems. The golden child receives excessive attention, resources, and leniency. They can do no wrong. The scapegoat is blamed for family problems, expected to be self-sufficient, and their achievements are minimized or ignored. Both children suffer, but in different ways. The words settle over me like a diagnosis I've been waiting for without knowing it existed. Scapegoat. It has a name. What happened to me has a name. Your parents created a system where Theresa's needs are always prioritized and your accomplishments are taken for granted, Dr. Chen continues. They've trained you to accept invisibility, to not ask for anything, to apologize for existing. I'm not apologizing anymore, I say, and my voice sounds stronger than I feel. Good. That's the first step. I leave her office with another appointment scheduled and a reading list about family dynamics. The words follow me as I walk through the cold Chicago afternoon. Scapegoat, golden child, dysfunctional system. Language matters. Naming the wound makes it real. Makes it treatable. 2 weeks later, I sign a lease on a studio apartment in Lincoln Park. It's small, just enough space for me and the 3 boxes from the garage, but the windows face east and catch the morning light. The landlord, an older woman named Mrs. Kowalski, shows me how the radiator works and mentions that the previous tenant was also starting over. It's a good place for new beginnings, she says, handing me the keys. Standing in my empty apartment with Grandma Rose's quilt draped over my arm, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Not happiness exactly. Intentionality. This space is chosen, not settled for. Mine, not borrowed. A place where I can finally display my debate trophies and first edition books without someone deciding I'm taking up too much room. Maya helps me move in the following Saturday. We arrange furniture from IKEA and hang my framed marketing award on the wall. When we finish, she pulls out a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. To new chapters, she toasts. That night, scrolling through community boards, I find a women's running group that meets Sunday mornings at the lakefront. All paces welcome. We run forward together. Something about the phrasing resonates. Moving forward. Together. Not alone, but not invisible either. I join the group the next morning. The cold air burns my lungs as we run along Lake Michigan, and I realize this is what freedom feels like. Physical. Metaphorical. Real. Each step taking me further from the person I was told to be and closer to whoever I'm becoming. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Another call from home. I keep running. The call comes on a Tuesday evening in late January. I've been in my new apartment for 3 weeks, settled into my Chicago office for 2. I'm heating up leftover Thai food when Mom's number appears on my screen for the first time since I stopped answering. My thumb hovers over the decline button. Dr. Chen's voice echoes in my head from yesterday's session. You can answer. You can set boundaries. You don't have to avoid forever. Just remember, you control when it ends. I answer on the 4th ring. Hello. Andrea. Mom's voice is carefully modulated, the tone she uses for difficult conversations with clients at her real estate firm. We need to talk. I'm listening. Your father and I have been very patient. But this has gone on long enough. It's time to come home and work this out like a family. I'm not coming home, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. I have a home. Here. In Chicago. A sharp intake of breath. Don't be dramatic. You can't just throw away 32 years over one misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding, Mom. It was a pattern. And I'm done pretending otherwise. The silence stretches. Then Dad's voice cuts in. He's on speakerphone. I should have known. Andrea, you're being selfish. Your mother is upset. Theresa's upset. You've created a family crisis over nothing. Over nothing, I repeat, and something inside me crystallizes. I got nothing for Christmas. Literally nothing. Theresa got a Porsche. That's not nothing. That's a statement about who matters in this family and who doesn't. We've always treated you fairly, Mom says, her voice rising. We gave you independence. We trusted you to handle yourself. No. I feel the words rising from a place I didn't know existed. You neglected me and called it independence. You ignored my achievements and called it trust. You erased me from family photos and family plans and family consideration, and then you blamed me for noticing. That's not fair, Dad says, but his voice has lost its authority. Fair? I spent my entire childhood watching you pour resources into Theresa while I worked 3 jobs to pay for community college. Fair is Theresa getting a car worth more than my annual salary while I don't even get a card. Fair is you remembering I exist. We've always loved you, Mom says, and I can hear the tears in her voice. The performance of hurt feelings designed to make me apologize. To make me smaller. To make me disappear again. But I'm done disappearing. I'm not responsible for fixing what you broke, I say, and my voice doesn't shake. I'm responsible for protecting what's left of me. And right now, that means boundaries. That means distance. That means I don't accept guilt for consequences you created. Andrea, I have to go. If you want a relationship with me, it will be on different terms. Respect. Equality. Acknowledgement. Until you're ready for that, I need space. I end the call before they can respond. My hands are shaking, but not from fear. From something else. Something that feels like power reclaimed. My phone immediately starts buzzing. Dad calling back. I silence it. A text from Theresa, you just made Mom cry. I hope you're happy. I delete it without responding. 3 days later, Maya calls me at work. Andrea, you need to come downstairs. Now. What's wrong? Just come down. I find Maya in the lobby of my office building, standing between the security desk and my sister. Theresa looks smaller than I remember, her designer coat wrinkled, her makeup smudged. She's been crying or wants me to think she has. Andrea, she starts, reaching for me. Maya steps between us. She doesn't have an appointment. I've already asked security to escort her out if she doesn't leave voluntarily. I'm her sister, Theresa says, her voice breaking on the word. That doesn't give you the right to ambush her at work, Maya says, and there's steel in her voice I've only heard her use with difficult clients. I look at Theresa. Really look at her. And I see someone who's never had to fight for anything, never had to prove her worth, never had to build boundaries because she's never been forced to the margins. Someone who genuinely doesn't understand why I won't just come back and resume my role as the invisible one. You need to leave, I say quietly. Andrea, please. Mom's a mess. Dad won't talk to anyone. Just come to dinner. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix, Theresa. There's only a truth you don't want to see. What truth? That I've been invisible my entire life and I'm done being erased. Security approaches. Theresa looks between me and Maya, realizes neither of us is backing down, and finally turns toward the door. She pauses, looks back. You're breaking their hearts. No, I say. I'm just refusing to break mine anymore. She leaves. Maya puts her hand on my shoulder. You okay? I nod. Because I am. For the first time in 32 years, I chose myself and it didn't destroy me. It freed me. The invitation arrives on a Thursday in September, 9 months after I walked out of my parents' house. Cream cardstock, elegant calligraphy, the kind of formal stationery Mom uses for important occasions. You are cordially invited to celebrate Rose Kennedy's 80th birthday. Grandma Rose. The only person in that family who ever saw me clearly, who remembered my achievements, who asked about my life like it mattered. She called me every week after Christmas, carefully avoiding mention of my parents, just wanting to hear my voice. I hold the invitation for a long time before calling Dr. Chen. You don't owe them anything, she reminds me during our emergency session. But you might owe yourself closure. If you go on your terms. Set boundaries. Protect yourself. I book a room at the Marriott downtown. Not their house. Never their house again. I text Mom a single message. I'll attend the party only. Arriving Saturday at 2 p.m., leaving Sunday at 10 a.m. I'm staying at a hotel. Her response comes immediately. We have plenty of room here. I don't reply. The drive back feels different this time. I'm not running toward hope or away from pain. I'm simply choosing to show up for someone who showed up for me. My charcoal suit hangs in the back seat, pressed and ready. Coral silk blouse. Professional. Powerful. Chosen. The woman in my rearview mirror looks nothing like the one who fled 9 months ago. This woman runs 5 miles every Sunday. This woman just led a campaign that increased client retention by 43%. This woman has a therapist, a chosen family, and boundaries made of steel. The party is at the country club, neutral territory. I arrive exactly at 2 p.m., neither early nor late. The valet takes my keys. I walk through the entrance with my shoulders back and my head high. Grandma Rose sees me first. Her face lights up in a way my parents' faces never have. Andrea. She pulls me into a hug that smells like lavender and unconditional love. Look at you. Chicago suits you. Thank you for the invitation, Grandma. Always, sweetheart. Always. Then I see them across the room. Dad looks older, the stress evident in new lines around his eyes. Mom's smile is brittle, performative. And Theresa stands beside them in an outfit that screams desperation for relevance, her phone constantly in her hand. I observe them like an anthropologist studying a foreign culture. The way Dad keeps checking his watch. The way Mom's jewelry seems less extravagant than I remember. The way Theresa's laugh sounds hollow when she shows someone something on her phone. Maya did some research for me last week. Couldn't help herself, she said with a grin. The Porsche payments are straining their finances. Dad took a pay cut 6 months ago when his company downsized. Mom's real estate commissions are down 40%. And Theresa's influencer career has stalled at 32,000 followers, sponsors dropping off as engagement rates plummet. The system they built is crumbling under its own weight. Mom approaches first, her expression carefully neutral. Andrea. You look well. I am well, I say. Chicago is good for me. A pause, loaded with everything unsaid. Your father and I hoped we could talk. Maybe dinner tomorrow before you leave? I'm leaving in the morning, I say, my voice calm. I'm here for Grandma Rose. That's all. Something flickers in her eyes. Hurt, maybe. Or recognition that the daughter who used to bend and apologize and disappear is gone. I understand, she says, but I don't think she does. Theresa tries next, cornering me by the champagne fountain. Can we talk? Outside? I have nothing to say that I haven't already said. Andrea, please. Things are hard right now. The Porsche payment alone. I hold up my hand. Not my problem, Theresa. You wanted that life. You got it. The consequences are yours to manage. Her face crumples. You've changed. Yes, I say. I have. I finally learned what I'm worth. I spend the rest of the party talking with Grandma Rose, with cousins I haven't seen in years, with people who are genuinely happy to see me thriving. I watch my parents watching me from across the room, trying to reconcile this version of me with the invisible one they created. At 4 p.m., I kiss Grandma Rose goodbye and walk to my car without looking back. I'm halfway to my car when I hear footsteps behind me. Andrea, wait. Dad's voice. I turn slowly. All three of them stand there in the parking lot, backlit by the late afternoon sun. Mom's mascara is smudged. Theresa's arms are crossed defensively. Dad looks like a man who's finally run out of authority. We need to talk, Mom says. Really talk. I check my watch with deliberate slowness. I have dinner plans. Please, Dad says, and the word sounds foreign in his mouth. 5 minutes. The country club has a private dining room. Something in his tone makes me pause. Not the commanding tone from before. Something closer to desperation. I think of Dr. Chen's words. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you take. 5 minutes, I say. The dining room is empty, elegant, too formal for what's about to happen. We sit at opposite ends of a mahogany table that could seat 12. The distance feels appropriate. You've made your point, Mom begins. You have our attention now. Can we move past this? Move past this, I repeat, and something cold settles in my chest. This isn't about getting your attention. This is about 32 years of systemic neglect that you refuse to acknowledge. That's not fair, Theresa says. We're a family. Families support each other. I reach into my bag and pull out the folder I've been carrying since yesterday. The one I prepared with Maya's help, organized with the precision I use for client presentations. I slide it across the table. Open it. Dad opens the folder. His face goes pale as he sees the first page. Bank statements, meticulously highlighted. Every check they wrote to Theresa. Every tuition payment. Every rent payment. Every car payment. The Porsche down payment. The emergency bailouts. $30,000 for Northwestern. $22,000 for the apartment in River North. $12,000 for the MacBook and equipment. $95,000 for the Porsche. On and on. $180,000, I say, my voice steady. Given to Theresa over the past decade. Mom's hand goes to her throat. Now flip to the next section. They do. More bank statements. $3,200. Total. Community college tuition assistance. 1 emergency car repair. A birthday check for $500 when I turned 30. This isn't about one Christmas, I say, and my voice doesn't shake. This isn't about a Porsche versus nothing. This is about 32 years of you deciding that Theresa's comfort matters and my existence doesn't. We didn't realize, Mom whispers. Yes, you did. You just didn't care. I flip to the photo album section. Pictures of family events. Theresa centered in every shot. Me in the background, cropped out, or missing entirely. Birthday parties where she got the venue, and I got a grocery store cake. Graduations where you stayed for her entire ceremony and left halfway through mine. The evidence speaks for itself, I say. The silence is deafening. Theresa stares at the numbers like she's seeing them for the first time. Maybe she is. Maybe she never had to count the cost because she never paid it. Andrea, Dad starts, but I hold up my hand. I'm not finished. The last section is Christmas cards. Every year, a family photo card. Every year, Theresa front and center. Half of them don't include me at all. This past Christmas, you sent out cards that said the Kennedy family with a photo of the three of you and the Porsche. I wasn't even mentioned. We thought you'd understand, Mom says weakly. Understand what? That I don't count? That I was never really part of this family? That my role was to be self-sufficient so you could pour everything into Theresa? That's not what we meant to do, Dad says. But it's what you did. I closed the folder with a soft thud. For 32 years, you created a hierarchy. Golden child and scapegoat. Visible and invisible. Worthy and expendable. Don't use those terms, Mom says sharply. We love both our daughters. Love isn't just a word, I say. It's action. It's equity. It's seeing someone and choosing them anyway. You've never done that for me. Theresa speaks for the first time since the numbers. I didn't know it was this bad. Because you never had to know. You were comfortable. So, what do you want? Dad asks. An apology? Money? What will make this right? I shake my head. Nothing makes 32 years right. But here's what happens next. I'm offering one option. Family therapy. With Dr. Chen, my therapist in Chicago. Real therapy. Where we examine this system you built and either fix it or I walk away permanently. The three of them exchange glances. And if we refuse? Mom asks. Then this is the last time you see me. No contact. No holidays. No life events. I'm done performing the role of the grateful invisible daughter who accepts crumbs and calls it love. You can't be serious, Theresa says. I'm completely serious. Dr. Chen's contact information is in the folder. You have 2 weeks to decide. After that, my answer is final. I stand, smoothing my suit jacket. The woman in the charcoal suit and coral blouse who knows her worth. Who has evidence and boundaries and a life that doesn't need their approval. Andrea, please, Mom reaches for me. 2 weeks, I repeat. Family therapy. All 4 of us. Or no contact. Those are the only options. I walk out of the dining room, through the country club lobby, into the parking lot where my Honda waits. Behind me, I hear nothing. No footsteps following. No voices calling my name. Just silence. And for the first time, the silence doesn't hurt. It feels like freedom. 18 months after the country club confrontation, I stand in my Lincoln Park loft watching the December sunset over Lake Michigan. The space is nothing like the cramped studio I started with. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Exposed brick. Room for the life I've built instead of the one I escaped. Maya arrives first, carrying champagne and the kind of smile that says she knew all along I'd get here. Then my running group friends. Then colleagues from the office who've become family. The apartment fills with laughter and warmth and the particular kind of love that asks for nothing except that you show up as yourself. Jordan finds me in the kitchen, arranging appetizers with the focused precision I usually reserve for client presentations. You're nervous, he observes, wrapping his arms around me from behind. I'm not used to this many people caring about me at once. Get used to it. He kisses the top of my head. You're marrying a research scientist who believes in evidence-based conclusions. The evidence shows you're extraordinary. I met Jordan at a marketing conference 7 months ago. He was presenting research on consumer behavior patterns. I was presenting campaign strategies. We argued about methodology over coffee, laughed about it over dinner, and discovered we'd both rebuild ourselves from family wreckage. He understands what it costs to choose yourself. What it's worth. Would you help me with this? I ask, gesturing at the cheese board I'm overthinking. The words still feel foreign. Asking for help. Accepting it. But Jordan just smiles and starts arranging crackers while I pour wine, and it occurs to me that this is what partnership looks like. Not one person carrying everything while the other takes. Just 2 people building something together. The doorbell rings at 7. I know who it is before I open it. Mom stands in the hallway holding a carefully wrapped gift, Dad beside her looking older, but steadier than the last time I saw him. They've been doing the therapy. Every other week for 16 months now. Dr. Chen says they're making progress. Learning vocabulary. Examining patterns. Actually listening. We're proud of you, Dad says, and the words sound genuine. Almost practiced, like he's been rehearsing. The VP promotion. The engagement. The life you've built. Thank you for inviting us, Mom adds softly. I step aside to let them in. The boundaries remain. They don't visit often. We don't pretend the past 32 years didn't happen. But we're learning a new language together. One where I'm visible. Where my achievements matter. Where love is more than just a word they say when they need me to forgive them. Dad's in financial counseling now. Learning to live within actual means instead of sacrificing stability for appearance. Mom volunteers at a women's shelter 3 days a week, working with mothers and daughters navigating difficult relationships. She says it's helping her understand what she couldn't see before. Theresa didn't come. She sends texts occasionally, surface-level updates about her new job in marketing for a small firm. The influencer dream died along with the Porsche payments. She's learning what I always knew, that you have to earn your worth. That it can't be given to you. That the real work is building yourself instead of waiting for someone else to do it. Maya pulls me aside during dinner. "Look at you," she says, gesturing at the room full of people who chose to be here. "This is what you deserve." I look around. Jordan laughing with my running friends. My parents sitting quietly, listening more than talking. Colleagues sharing stories about campaigns I led. This chosen family I've assembled from people who see me completely and love me anyway. Later, after everyone leaves except Jordan, we stand at the windows watching the city lights reflect off the lake. He's washing dishes without being asked. I'm drying them, accepting help that doesn't come with conditions. "What are you thinking?" he asks. "I'm thinking about a Christmas morning 2 years ago when I stood in a living room with empty hands and realized I was worth nothing to the people who were supposed to love me most. And now? Now I know the truth. I am worth everything I was never given. Not because someone finally gave it to me, but because I gave it to myself." Jordan sets down the dish he's holding and turns to face me. "That's the woman I'm marrying. The one who knows her value." I lean into him, feeling the weight of 2 years of therapy and boundary setting and choosing myself over and over again until it became automatic. The weight of learning that asking for help isn't weakness. That accepting love doesn't make you a burden. That you can survive being invisible and come out the other side visible, whole, and worth everything you refuse to accept anymore. My phone buzzes with a text. "Grandma Rose, congratulations, my darling girl. I always knew you'd find your way." I text back a heart and set the phone down. Outside, snow begins to fall over Chicago, covering everything in clean white silence. But this time, the silence doesn't erase me. This time, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Finally, perfectly seen.